As the political parties on Nevis deepen their campaigns for the upcoming federal elections, the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, Mark Brantley, described leaders of the Nevis Reformation Party as hypocrites for breaking their own constitution. Having strongly criticized the CCM for years for having the same representatives serve in the Nevis Island administration and at the federal government level, NRP amended its constitution to prevent representatives from serving in the local and federal governments at the same time. But on 3rd June 2022, the NRP launched its federal campaign with 3 candidates who already were declared to run for local government on Nevis. CCM's leader Mark Brantley, on his 8th June talk show On the Mark, condemned the decision of the NRP.
As I told a friend, they set a trap for CCM, but the trap fly and his NRP get catch. Because look at them now. Look at them now. Hypocrites. Coming now for all kind of reasons. And now all of a sudden we hear, we can change the constitution. Well, of course you can change the constitution, but what you have done is unconstitutional. It is against the very principles that you have espoused over the years. And if you can't trust NRP to follow their own argument, then what you can trust them with? What? When I hear the suggestion that you had no candidates who were willing and none who were able, I shuddered, I shuddered. Because everybody heard the names that were being mentioned. So what happened? That all of a sudden, everything a kitty cat. And you gone now from condemning the same person running in both to Janice Hodge says she gonna run. My good CCM cousin Pat says she gonna run. And the sacrificial lamb Rohan say he gonna run. The same 3 people that have already been declared locally in breach of their very own constitution. And more than that, completely contrary to the argument that they have used all these years.
The NRP constitution on the matter is worded in such manner that there is no leeway to accommodate dual declarations on candidacy for local and federal elections. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
With 3 political parties contesting the upcoming federal elections on St. Kitts with a full slate of 8 candidates, some pundits are surmising that there could be a need for coalition government. But for social commentator Dwyer Astafan, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party can still and should look to work with other political parties, even if they win an outright majority. He made the suggestion in his latest commentary on Freedom FM.
The position of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party is that it is not ruling out reaching out to other interests except Harris with regard to the governance of the country, regardless of how many seats the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party might win. And the fact that the party is asking voters for a clear majority does not rule out that option. As I said before, wouldn't Pam or the Harris enterprise just love to win 6 or more seats? So this is easy to understand. And I believe that the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party wants to put the winner-takes-all political culture behind us as we embrace the talent, the commitment, the integrity and the patriotism of all of our people, regardless of political persuasion, unleashing the talent, the creativity, the diligence, the integrity, and the patriotism of our young and not so young minds in the cause of the country, a cause which, if pursued, provides prosperity for all.
Labour Party leader Dr. Terence Drew has publicly said he would be open to discussing with other parties to form a government except with the People's Labour Party and Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris. Dr. Harris, a former senior member of the Labour Party administration, was dismissed from government in 2013 after he spoke out against some of the policies of the government and failed to indicate his ongoing support for then Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas. Safe to say, the relationship between Dr. Harris and the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party has been severed beyond repair. but Dr. Drew has made it clear that all the parties must sign on to a code of ethics before they can enter into any arrangement with the Labour Party. Parliament has been dissolved since last month, and the country awaits the announcement of the new election date. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. When you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or manage a property, your answer has to be Diamond Real Estate and Management St. Kitts, Dreams. They provide oversight of real estate and physical property in St. Kitts and Nevis, perform regular maintenance, utility payments, and safety checks to ensure your property is well kept. Dreams manages and optimizes your rental listing, recruits tenants, and much more. Looking to sell that parcel of land or property, or dreaming of owning your own? Trust Dreams under the leadership and experience of its CEO, Velma Merchant. Many can attest to her professionalism and customer service. Diamond Real Estate Management St. Kitts. Call 663-7326 or visit their office at 15 Shadwell Industrial Estate, making your real estate dreams come true. When visiting St. Martin, you want clean, affordable accommodations. You need Midtown Motel in the heart of Phillipsburg, a place where you can relax, take a stroll on Great Bay Beach, and that provides you easy access to great shopping. Midtown Motel, located on Front Street, Phillipsburg, St. Martin. Call Midtown Motel at 721-542-0614 and book your stay today.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Mill House Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Mill House Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
The Nevis Reformation Party will provide assistance for medical care, especially when overseas travel is involved, according to an NRP-issued statement. The statement reads in part, quote, "The elected NRP representatives would ensure that a percentage of our CBI monies are allocated to an emergency medical fund to assist families with medical expenses. The procedures to access this fund would be standardized so that all eligible persons would have an equal opportunity to benefit from the fund." End quote. CCM was accused in the statement of not using funds received from the Citizenship by Investment Program to resolve several healthcare issues, including completing the expansion of the Alexandria Hospital. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
The Curriculum Development Unit, CDU, rolled out the pilot phase of its Key Stage Assessment of Learning, KAL, on Tuesday, June 7th. Students across grades 4 and 6 at primary schools in St. Kitts and Nevis participated in a Learning Arts assessment.
The CAL is very important in determining the level at which students are in their learning, as we have not had a national assessment for the last 2 years due to COVID. And so this assessment this year and how it is designed will give us very, very important information that will guide us in how we need to instruct our students.
Director of the CDU, Mistress Amanda Edmeade, stated that the administration of the assessment will enable educators to determine the degree of learning loss experienced by students during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in an effort to close the gaps. Mistress Edmeade further stated that the language arts assessment will span the course of 3 days, Tuesday, June 7th to Thursday, June 9th.
The teachers in the primary schools have been working with students to develop their portfolios, and they have also conducted their language arts writing piece and their mathematics performance task. Today, we started the written component of the assessment with the language arts reading passage, day 1. There are 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Thursday, where the students will do reading comprehension based on different genres. Next week, Tuesday, they will be doing the written component for the mathematics assessment, and that will conclude our pilot of CAL, after which we will be scoring and preparing reports for schools, for teachers, for our senior leadership and the general public.
The Ministry of Education has embarked on an initiative to further strengthen the education sector in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis through the rollout of a new national assessment dubbed Key Stage Assessment of Learning, KAL, the results of which will be used in improving the education system so that teachers and students will maximize teaching and learning opportunities within and without the class.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs. Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule. Are you ready to create high-performing TV commercials?
Ready.
Ready.
Ready. Create and tell compelling stories. Reach your target audience. And build brand awareness. Our strategies and execution will provide for your desired outcome and clearly represent your brand. Visit us at www.madebyopen.com and get started on your creative video commercial today. Lights, camera, Open Interactive.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the Collins Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the Collins Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
Can you believe all the ings we can fit under one roof? We're here to help your small business any way we can.
A total of 82 persons who entered Guyana through the local airports and other ports of entry in the last 2 years were tested positive for COVID-19. This was disclosed by Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony during his COVID-19 update on Wednesday.
And there are cases like that. Somebody might have tested negative, but when they came in subsequently, they display the symptoms of COVID-19. So you have cases like that. However, when we discover them, we would advise them to isolate and to monitor and to do all the things that we are recommending.
The existing protocols at the ports of entry mandate each passenger to present their vaccination cards and a negative polymerase chain reaction test result.
First of all, vaccines are available for persons 12 years and older. So for those persons where we have been administering vaccine, we require that upon entry that people should present the vaccination card to show that they were vaccinated. In addition to that, we require that persons coming into Guyana should have an antigen test or a PCR test, and that the validity of the test should be within a 72-hour period.
In the last 24 hours, 138 new cases were recorded. 1,087 persons currently have the virus.
We also have 29 persons in hospital, and of the 29 persons, we have 15 persons who are now from the Ocean View Hospital, with one of them in the ICU.
The Ministry of Health will begin disseminating COVID-19 vaccines to children ages 5 to 11 on Saturday.
We'll do a drive-through at the Cultural Center Tarmac, and hopefully we'll get persons to come there and get their vaccines. We want to encourage the parents to bring their child or their guardians to come and bring their children, and you will have to make sure you give consent before we can do the vaccination. These vaccines are specially formulated for children.
To date, 442,682 or 86.3% of adults in Guyana have received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccines, while 342,332 or 66.7% have been administered both jabs. Tamika Rodney reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
And we begin the news with an item of breaking news. Sections of downtown Kingston up to a few minutes ago remained tense following a gun battle between police and gunmen on Duke Street in downtown Kingston. Now, details are slowly coming in, but our reporter, Kirk Wright, is on location and now joins me live via telephone. Kirk, good evening.
Janela, I'm exactly at West Parade in the vicinity of the Tasties restaurant on Orange Street. It's a chaotic scene down here at the moment, Janela. A man was shot right in front of the Tasty restaurant. We understand that the victim is from locally not far away from here. The police are just beginning to cordon off the scene after the incident just over half an hour ago. Our understanding is that man was shot and by two men traveling on motorcycles. They were challenged by members of the security forces. Was culminated on Sun Street near the JUTC ticketing office. When we arrived there, we saw the police and soldiers removing a man with his shirt over his head, placing him in the back of a service vehicle and whisking him away. But earlier, we journeyed down to the Kingston Public Hospital where we saw another man in the back of a service vehicle. We were told that that man is one of the men who apparently shoot the residents of Luke Lane here in front of the Tasties restaurant. At the moment, it's chaos downtown. The police are blocking off the scene, which means the taxis and motorists have only one line to go in and carrying out their investigation. So far, we're not sure if the person who was shot in front of the Tasties restaurant is dead. We're yet to confirm that. But we were also told that police killed one of the gunmen. That too we're not sure of, but we're waiting to get more information from the police as they carry out their investigation. General?
All right, thank you so much, Kirk. Just before you go, you say that the police are now cordoning off sections of downtown Kingston. Are there any blocked roads? Can you report on which roads are not accessible right now?
This is Orange Street in the vicinity of downtown Kingston, in the vicinity of the Popeyes food court and the Tasties restaurant. So that is blocked off now. The people who are traveling from Bottom Orange Street to go up to where Captain's Bakery was, which is now Joe Gibbs restaurant, they are not able to do so because that now has been cordoned off by the police to facilitate the investigation.
Kirk, no doubt this was happening at a time when you have so many commuters in downtown Kingston. What are you seeing in terms of the movement of public transportation and also of people?
When we got here, the traffic was flowing smoothly, and that's because the scene had not been cordoned off, but everything seemed normal until we got closer to where the man was shot. We saw the blood stains on the road, we saw pen shells, and at that time the police, it was way after half an hour after the shooting, had still not cordoned off the scene yet. Now that is being done by the police, which is causing a pileup of traffic along the roadway.
All right. Thank you so much, Kirk. And if you're just joining us, we have a developing story where we are reporting that there was a raging gun battle between the police and gunmen on Duke Street in downtown Kingston. And to another developing story, police are now at the scene of a major gun find in Go Peas Lane in Salt Spring, St. James. Now, a combined military operation resulted in the seizure of 3 high-powered rifles, 2 pistols, and several rounds of ammunition. Of course, we'll have more on this developing story in subsequent newscasts.
The United Nations is warning that the war in Ukraine is threatening to unleash an unprecedented wave of hunger and destitution. The comment from the Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres, comes as Russia's Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, has denied the conflict is causing a global food crisis, despite soaring prices driven by the collapse of Ukrainian exports. Our global trade correspondent, Darshini David, has more.
Ukraine's crops can usually feed 400 million mouths, but Russia stands accused of turning that breadbasket into a stealth missile. 90% of grain typically leaves by ship, but most is stuck in fields or silos, as blockades at ports slow exports to a trickle.
My friend, how are you?
The Russian foreign minister was in Turkey to discuss how grain corridors, a safe passage for ships, could be created, but was making no commitments nor accepting any responsibility.
To solve this problem, the only thing needed is for the Ukrainians to let vessels out of their ports, either by clearing mines or by marking out safe corridors. Nothing more is required.
Ukraine is one of the world's largest exporters of cereal crops and oils. Before the war, 12% of global wheat exports came from Ukraine, almost half of sunflower oil, and it provided around 18% of maize exports. But with most of these being transported by sea, the amount being exported has slumped. And that means some countries, chiefly in Africa and the Middle East, will be hit hard. Egypt has been receiving a quarter of its wheat from Ukraine, Libya almost half, and Lebanon more than 60%. And taking a chunk out of the world's supply means prices have soared since the invasion, affecting every corner of the globe. Can a deal to get exports moving be struck? The World Trade Organization is one of those trying to solve this crisis.
Having 20 to 25 million tons of grain sitting both in Ukrainian ports and in granaries, warehouses, it's really sad when we see prices rising so high.
At the moment, there is no progress. What if there is no agreement? What are your concerns?
If we are not able to evacuate the grains in Ukraine now, and then they have a harvest coming up in July with a similar quantity that will go to waste, then you can see that this will work its way through for the next year or two, and that will be really, really disastrous.
The clock is ticking. 49 million people are already on the brink of famine. A more prolonged humanitarian crisis could be looming. Darshini David, BBC News.
KFC Trinity Challengers FC crushed Molineux 7-0, while E&K Minimart Sandy Point continued their winning ways with a 3-2 victory over Mantab FC in SKNFA Division 1 action on Tuesday at the Kim Collins Stadium in Bird Rock. Scoring for Sandy Point, Elizandai Warner in the 61st minute and Joel Brown scoring twice in the 50th and 80th minutes. Mantab goal scorers Kamel French in the 36th minute and Eversley Davis in the 78th minute. The game, however, ended with both teams ending with 10 players as Kadeem Lowry of Mantab received his second yellow card in the 83rd minute, while Abidjan Woodley was sent off with a straight red card for using abusive, insulting or abusive language toward a match official. In the second match of the doubleheader, Jody Walters scored a hat-trick for Trinity Challengers FC in the 10th, 18th and 35th minute. Clyde Herbert scoring in the 27th minute, Deshaun Billinghurst in the 32nd minute, Adrian Tobias in the 56th minute, and Kimron Keynes in the 61st minute, giving a 7-0 victory for Challengers over Molineux. The score was 5-0 at half-time. Coach of Trinity Challengers FC, Oren Hughes, said whenever his players show up, they are a match for any team in Division 1.
We've always said once we show up with our numbers, none of the teams in the second division can actually vie against the quality that we have. And it's shown tonight, even though Molineux were somewhat less of a team. The knocking of the ball was what I was expecting.
The SKNFA Division 1 continued on Wednesday.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.